This is Worthy TV. Truth and integrity.
Body TV suniye yama munyina kwaba na ebusa mayentinsin wo Paul Adom Otchere akache den hwe de fi ho ebe na wotwi mu na eja Ghana mampanye na nadan kwekufado na be de kire baomia etu anamo eko eye obia festival gomwa otu senya mpatamo na okopie mu ewo ho no ochechi ampanyefo Gizella ene ye mrase bedwene wo ho ochechi amo ewo ho ema na chesa fashion no ebekoso a ne sada na no mani age afi yen kohwe Gizella na sorry ya wokui okohia a wose ba mi aba na chese asemi amanfo esomu twene sere na basasa na Paul Adom Otchere akasa etia dia Gizella tete eye no se entwe yekura we no sinchia wakofa 2016 2017 2018 to 2020 besi 2023 inflation rate se na ekosoro ene se na ba fom e de ababeto to ho kire se 2023 dinde ne ye yo waya de yate na adenta kumi ono zoko afafranto no asan back ayo oze ono onsuro NPP youth no munsuro kwambia so they are breaking the eight na yenkoti Paul Adom Otchere ene adenta kumi bra enkomatwetwe no ekoso.
They send it to me that you see your man. Have you seen your man? So I called Atta. I call him Leonard or Nyaminipa. Atta likes to be referred to as Nyaminipa. So he picked up the call. He calls me the excellent one. So when I pick, say, oh, the excellent one, I say Nyaminipa. He said, oh, Koda, they need the thing. I said, Atta, but I have a problem. He said, what is it? I said, what did you go and say? He said, about what? I was campaigning. I said, but why are you calling John Mahama names? He said, me. I didn't do that. I said, but I've seen your video. He said, which video? Send it to me. I sent it to him. Then he called me back. He was laughing. He said, Leonard, but what did I say? I didn't accuse John Mahama of anything. I said that our candidate does not do X, Y, Z. And I said, oh, but if you say that our candidate does not do X, Y, Z, you are indirectly implying that the opponents, because Baumia has only one opponent in this election. John Mahama has only one opponent in this election. Baumia doesn't have many opponents. So if you say that our candidate does not do X, Y, Z, then it's presuming that by intelligence analysis, that the other candidate does that. He said, T. So the argument was getting heated between Atta and I. Jai, sao journalism. Jai. I said, Dr. Dufour is the one who said it. So I said, Dr. Dufour? He said, yes. Now Dr. Dufour can't want it. Dr. Dufour can't. I couldn't see how Dr. Dufour, looking at him, his demeanor, I know him very well, will say something like that. So I challenged Atta that I don't believe you, Atta. I don't believe this is part of your trasicals you are doing. He said, it's not trasicals. So he was arguing with me on the phone. He said, are you on your phone? I said, yes, I've just sent you something. So I opened it. It was a letter that Dr. Dufour wrote to Johnson Asiedu Ketia, General Secretary as he then was. Have a look at the letter. Please, post the letter. Now, this is a letter written by Kwabena Dufour, and it's written to the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, headquarters Accra, 2023. Dear Sir, urgent matters for concern. Now, let's look at the matters Dr. Dufour addressed. He says as follows. We write with felicitations to the national executives, our dear delegates, and to all supporters of our cherished National Democratic Congress. It is a crunch moment, and we cannot take chances. Looking at how desperate the governing New Patriotic Party is to hold on to power. After they have created economic crisis in Ghana due to mismanagement of the economy, they still want to remain in power to create more hardship for Ghanaians. As a party, we find ourselves at crossroads to choose between a candidate who is blemished with scandals and one with a proven economic track record. All around the world, Dr. Dufour continues, the biggest issue is how to tackle the cost of living challenges. Therefore, the December 7, 2004 leadership race in Ghana is all about the economy. Team Dufour wants to bring to the attention of our cherished delegates and party executives that Ghanaians are looking up to the NDC to elect a flag bearer who can roll out policies that can fix the economy within 2 years. Therefore, we need to present a presidential candidate who is sincere and whose political record is not tainted in any way. The current economic challenges require that we do not need a flag bearer. Now, this is the critical part. He says, the current economic challenges require that we do not need a flag bearer who has been described as a government official, one, in the Airbus scandal and confirmed as such by the former special prosecutor Martin Amidu. The NDC does not need a flag bearer who will take the party and its structures for granted, like we have seen over the years. The current times in which we are requires that we do not elect a flag bearer with a serious alcohol addiction issues. Ooh. We need a flag bearer who can be sober enough to tackle the challenges that we face as a country. It is for the above reasons that blah, 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 blah. So Dr. Dufour said, in the current times in which we are, requires that we do not elect a flag bearer with serious alcohol addiction issues. My goodness. But why? What was Dr. Dufour? What did he mean by that? I mean, when Atta sent it to me, I've never seen this letter before. In fact, this evening I was telling Apreku, my producer, that I've never seen this letter before. And he was explaining to me that Apreku, bring back the letter, that it's an internal memo that may have leaked. So he pointed it out to me. So he was telling me that I should look at the base here. It is received. This is a letter to NDC, an internal memo that was received. We just blocked out the number of the person who received it so people don't start calling him. But he was telling me that this is an internal memo. So I was trying to understand how did it leak. But Otchere is telling me that, and this is where it's Dr. Dufour who said it. But Dr. Dufour didn't make reference to anybody. But I think that this is an internal NDC memo. In spite of that, I don't think that the MPP should be calling their opponents names of alcohol addiction. I mean, this is a man who's been president of Ghana for 4 years. This is vice president for 4 years. Can an alcohol addiction person be president for 4 years? 4 years. If you're addicted to alcohol, can you be president for? People are addicted to alcohol every day. Every day. That's what addiction means. So please, but I mean, my hands were tied. I was going to hit Atta so hard. So I picked my phone. I called Miracles. I said, Baba, what did you say on news file? Now, I'm now on Miracles, if you have his photograph. But I finished with Atta. I called Miracles. And I said, what did you say on news file? He said, oh, he calls me senior. I said, senior, I didn't say anything. When I was concluding about Dr. Bawumia, I said that our flag bearer is not corrupt. And he is not a drunkard. This is what Miracles said, he said. And I said, oh, but Miracles, if you say that, what do you mean? He said, Baba, but I haven't mentioned anybody's name. They mentioned Bawumia's name and said Bawumia is a liar. I didn't mention names. I said, you can say Bawumia is a liar all you want. But our flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, is not corrupt. He's not government official one. And he's not a drunkard. That's what Miracle said. He's told the news file. But, I mean, viewers, you should help me. Is that a campaign is that something we can go on with? This is the NDC side. I'm coming to the MPP side. This is the MPP side. I'm coming to the NDC side. So I engaged with Miracles and Atta. Both of them said that they didn't mention anybody's name. And it's true they didn't mention anybody's name. They didn't. But the connotation, I was shocked when Atta said, Dr. Dufour said it, and I'm going to send it. He did, and I've just shared the letter with you. I don't know what to make of it, viewers. Send your text message to Good Evening Ghana Official and tell me what to make of it. Now let's come to the other one, the so-called Bawulaya. Put Dr. Bawumia's photograph if you have it. Otherwise, you can keep this one. Keep this one until you get Dr. Bawumia's photograph. So they say that Dr. Bawumia is a liar. They've been saying that, haven't they? That's so below the belt. That's so terrible. But I've been looking at it in some detail. Why do they say Dr. Bawumia is a liar? They say Dr. Bawumia is a liar because he said certain things in 2016. And they claim that the things Dr. Bawumia said in 2016, if you look at 2024 or 2023, those things haven't happened. And I don't understand that comparison. Dr. Bawumia's campaign for 2016, 2015, 15, and 16 was to be elected for a term 17 to 21. It was not to be elected for a term 21 to 25. No. Dr. Bawumia's campaign of 2016 was for the election of 17 to 21. So anything Dr. Bawumia said in 16 was to be implemented in that one term for which he was seeking the mandate. When you run an election, you don't seek mandate for 2 terms. You seek mandate for 1 term. So when you make promises, you are making the promises for 1 term. If you are in the term and you're seeking a second term, you are going to be tested on the things that you said in making the promises of the campaign prior to being sworn in. That's what it is, Abi. That's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. If I ran a campaign in 1980 and I'm running for election January 81 to 85 January, you don't, and I win that election and I come again and I start from 85 January to 1989 January. You don't come and take the things I said in the campaign prior to the second term to mark me in the second term, especially in this kind of second term that Akufo-Addo has had, that no country in the world can show any improvement in any economic indicators. 0. So let's take it one by one. We're going to show you the videos of what Dr. Bawumia said in 2016. And we're going to point out to you that Dr. Bawumia is not a liar. That everything he said in 2016, he was able to achieve it in 17, 18, 19, and 20. We'll show you the data. That was for 2016's campaign. The NDC now picked 2016's campaign, juxtapose what Dr. Bawumia said in 2016 to the indicators of 2022 and say that he's a liar. That's totally dishonest. And it's a bad campaign. Evaluate Dr. Bawumia in 2023 on the things he said in 2020's campaign because he was re-elected. When he spoke in 2020's campaign, he was seeking re-election for 21 onwards. I can show you that the things that Dr. Bawumia said in 2016, because he was able to achieve it, he didn't have to repeat it in 2020. He said, I will restore nurses and teacher training allowances. He did. He said, I will restore the, what else did he? Nurses, teacher training allowances, and what else? Something else he restored. Most of the things he said he would do, he did. He said, I'll bring inflation down, he did. He said, I'll lock the currency key and give it to the IGP. He did. The currency was under complete control, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So if you say that Dr. Bawumia said in 2016 that I will have the currency under control, and then in 2022 the currency is not under control, and he said that he's a liar, that's dishonest. That's completely, that's opportunism. It's political opportunism. Let's indicators 17, 18, 19, 20. Is that our next? Is that the next video we have? Oh, there's another video, isn't there? There's another video. Okay, now the indicators are here. All right. So viewers, here we go. So here are the inflation rates. Maybe you should have had 2016 on there so that it will make more sense. But we know the 2016 inflation rate. You can Google it, viewers. Google 2016 inflation rate and let me know. So this is 2017. The rate of inflation is 11 in 2017 when the government took over. Okay, we can say that part of it is NDC's work in 2016. So let's leave that. 18, single-digit inflation is what Dr. Bawumia promised in the 2016 campaign. There it is in 2018, shining. 2019, 7. Has Ghana's inflation gone below 7 before in our life? Show me. Show me. When Ghana's inflation went below 7 in our life, after 2019, 7. Show me when it went to 7. This is what Dr. Bawumia promised in 2016, and he delivered it. Don't come and tell me 2023. Dr. Bawumia promised in 2016 that the 4-year mandate that you give me, this is what I will do. This is what he did. These are the figures, not 2023 and 2022. 2023 and 2022. Show me one country in the world, one, only one, of the 192 countries in the world, show me one whose inflation was better. America is fighting a 40-year high inflation. The United Kingdom is fighting a 35-year high inflation. Japan is fighting a 20-year high inflation. China is fighting inflation. What are you talking about? What kind of dishonesty is this? What kind of political opportunism is this? Judge Bawumia for the things he said in 2016 by the things that happened in 17, 18, 19, and 20. You cannot judge Bawumia by the things he said in 2016 on 2022. Go and show me America's 2022. Show me Japan's 2023. And point out to me that something good is happening there. The whole world went under crisis. I don't even want to mention it has become a nomenclature. Did I say nomenclature? It has become what's the word I'm looking for? No. The word when we use things plenty, when we use one word every day. That's cliche. It has become a cliche. I don't want to mention the name coronavirus. It's a cliche. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. Let's not allow politicians to hoodwink us because they want power. They should tell us what they did. When they were in power, they should show us what they did. Let's not then use cliches to hoodwink us and say that, yes, we are suffering, I'm suffering, you are suffering, everybody's suffering, the whole 8 billion people in the world are suffering as a result of major global events that occurred. Dr. Baumia said, I will make you single-digit inflation. Here it is. Franklin Kujo, are you there? This is how Dr. Baumia should be measured, and I'm prepared to challenge anybody on this matter. I've said it many, many times. The NDC runs away when I say it. They should come forward, NDC. Show me that Dr. Baumia is a liar. Show me. How is he a liar? He told you in 2016 that our chiefs, this is it. How do you take somebody's campaign of 2016, ignore his campaign of 2020, and come and say that he said something in 2016, in the second term of his government, he was not able to achieve it? Does it not even sound ridiculous? Totally ridiculous, NDC people. Ridiculous. That somebody said something in 2016, and then you are judging him in 2023. You dishonestly shut your eyes to 2018, 19, and 20, and come to 2023. That's why Dr. Baumia stood at moving peak and beat his chest and said, I have achieved 80% of 2016 inflation has been reported at 17.5%. 2016, the inflation that John Mahama bequeathed Akufo-Addo's government with was 17.5%. 2017, within few months of Akufo-Addo and Baumia, they brought it to 11. And when they had full control, it came to 9. When they had better control, it came to 7. In 2020, with the rumors of coronavirus, it rose to 9.89. Where is Dr. Baumia's lie? Show me, NDC. Show me where Dr. Baumia's lies. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm against NDC or I'm for NPP. I'm saying this because in the politics of this country, we must have honesty and we must have an intellectual debate and stop this baulaya when you don't even know what you're talking about. The guy said in 2016 that I will do, he has done it. He didn't campaign in 2016 for 2023. The 2023 mandate was given in 2020. The mandate that Ghanaians gave him in 2016 was fulfilled. Show me, where is the lie? And then I don't know, they just pump this propaganda through the atmosphere, pump it for people because we are all suffering. Petrol price. Yesterday I bought petrol, I nearly beat up the petrol. The guy, how's in the head? He said, oh boss, it's your people, oh, it's not me, it's your people. And then we all laughed. But the petrol price is high. The dollar is crazy. Everybody knows that. The dollar is now going to 16. Show me the currency that is doing well in the world against the dollar. Show me. The euro. Go and ask them. Show me. So this, what I'm fighting tonight is the dishonesty and political opportunism, political name calling, dirty tricks department. That's what I'm fighting tonight. And I am dedicated to mount this fight. And I'm calling for support from civil society. Let's get the politicians to speak the truth. Imani, this is the figures of Dr. Baumia's 2016 promises. Show me how he didn't do it. What didn't he do? He did it. He achieved it. That's why in 2020, John Mahama could not campaign on the economy. Have you ever seen an opposition campaign that doesn't mention economy? Take all the videos of 2020. Yesterday I was watching them. Take all the videos of 2020. John Mahama didn't say anything about the economy. Why couldn't he say? Because the figures will not bear him out. And now they talk about economy and say Dr. Baumia is a liar because of what he said in 2016. No way, we are not going to allow that. If Dr. Baumia is doing something wrong, please say it. If Dr. Baumia is a poor vice president, say it and provide evidence. But don't come and tell me Dr. Baumia is a liar because of what he said in 2016. It's not true. He didn't lie. He delivered it. Dr. Baumia talked about 33 promises that he has achieved. I think I'm done. 29 minutes past 10. I have to be wrapping up. I think I'm done. Do you have the video of he saying that he had set up 33 initiatives? 33 initiatives. Are there other figures that I should be looking at? This is inflation. Is there another one? If you have another table, please put it up. Let me just wrap it up quickly and then deal with it. on the side. This GDP growth rate, again, we don't have 2016, but I think you can just Google it and give it to me. So the growth of our country. So inflation is about the money, about the changes of the price of goods. You know, the basket of goods, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. How we measure inflation is that we put a basket of goods, a set of goods in a basket, households, consumables in a basket, and look at the price month on month and see how it's changing, and that's how we determine inflation. That basket is called the Consumer Price Index. And then they look at it and bring figures, and that's how we get the percentages, okay? So that's about prices and the way they rise. Now, GDP growth rate is about the growth of the economy and the opportunities thereon that it creates for our people, so that you have a population growing, more people get jobs, etc., etc. That's what gross domestic product is about, GDP. That's what it's about. Now, GDP 2017 is 8.5. In 2018, it goes down to 6.2. In 2019, it goes down to 6.5. In COVID 2020, it comes to 0.51 because you are talking about growth. You are talking about productive activity. So in 2020, it will come down. Now, this is what it is. Check 2016's GDP. You will cry. Check. You will cry. And the people who gave us a GDP that warrants tears, the people who gave us GDP that warrants tears, today are telling us that they are better managers of the economy than Mahamudu Bawumia. No way. That's the falsity from hell, and it will never stand. The people who gave us GDP that warrants Ghanaian tears, they are telling us today that they are better managers of the Sami Jemfi. Are you really serious about this? If I were the host of a program and you come on it to be fireworks, because I will deal with it. Nothing to do with politics. It's to do with honesty and truthfulness and intellectual analysis. What are you talking about? You people took GDP, gave us GDP that warrants all of us to cry. And today, you come and tell us that you are better managers of the economy than Mahamudu Bawumia. That's a falsity. It will never happen. It will never stand anywhere in the world. That's wrong, because the figures don't bear it out. You gave us a GDP that makes all of us go to cry. And you tell us that you are better managers of the economy? Sami Jemfi, you and your people are better managers of this Ghanaian economy. 2014, you were better managers of the economy 2014. Today, I saw something bizarre from the IEA. I don't know whether the IEA actually said it or it's NDC people were saying it on the social media. The IEA says that 2023 figures is better than 2014. How do you compare 2014? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You compare 2014 to 2023 and say that it is better. Anybody who does that economic analysis is warped economic analysis. Do you know why it's warped? Because as early as Form 3, we were 15 years old. They taught us a principle in economics, in Presec, in every school in Accra. Everybody who studied economics in Form 3. They taught us a principle in economics. I wish I could write. The fundamental underpinning sentence for every economic analysis is this: all things being equal. Sami Jemfi, did you learn economics? Did they tell you that? Economic analysis is underpinned by one sentence: all things being equal. In fact, in other ways, when we go to sixth form, we're learning economics, we call it differently. We said, other things being equal. Because in sixth form, we are advancing in economics, we are learning more. So when you take some, you are doing petroleum analysis. So they say when you are doing petroleum analysis, you write other things being equal. It means that the things must be equal before you can make a comparison. You cannot call the economy of 2020-21 global as equal. So any economic analysis that does that in 2014 is warped. Economic analysis completely warped and absolutely flawed, because you are ignoring the fundamental denominator in economic analysis. All things being equal, other things being equal. That fundamental principle, all things being equal, that underpins every economic analysis. If you import it into regular economic analysis, you see that Dr. Bawumia is a gem. Let's be serious about our politics. Let's be like United Kingdom. Let's be like America. Let's be serious. You can say anything you want to say about Dr. Bawumia. You can say anything you want to say about John Mahama. But don't say things that are not borne out by the figures. Don't be dishonest. That kind of politics, we have left it behind. That kind of politics is for those who said that they will take the seat to Kumasi, so don't vote for them. We have gone beyond that kind of politics. My goodness. I have to leave it here. I'm sorry. I have to leave it here. What are the people saying on text message? Show me what they are saying. Antoinette, you first.
Right. So, still on the story of the Dirty Trick campaign on the political name calling, here's what General El Coleman has to say. He says it's becoming interesting, however, it is unfortunate and unethical for both parties to use name calling as damage control or weapon of mass destruction, but they must know name calling will not be used as a deciding factor in 2024's election. It is about the track records rather. Now, Cynthia says if you live in a glass house, you actually shouldn't throw stones. Therefore, if you mock Baumia, we will come for you hard on Mahama. So, tit for tat, that's what Cynthia says. Bernard Dancer says, good evening, Paul. In all honesty, even though I am full NPP, I don't subscribe to politics of mudslinging because it erodes the beauty of the campaign of our flag bearer. Yes, by all means, there should be jovial heckling, but I wish that you desist from that aspect of our politicking on social media and stick only to the issues on which the wise electorate will vote on. Now, David Bisu says, Paul, is it possible for our frontline contenders in the upcoming presidential elections to consider wearing bulletproof vests to avoid what happened in the US? Now, William Denchi says, good night, Paul. I would be surprised if you tell us you do not know who started this name calling. I can actually recall you doing a piece on Sami Jemfi and the Baulaya nonsense. Drunk money is befitting as he thinks. I don't think this is befitting either. Mohammed Yusufu says, Esiedin Ketia actually said Baumia is either a liar, and so Mahama will not debate with Baumia. In fact, all the NDC communicators have once or another time called Baumia a liar because some of the NPP campaign promises has not been fulfilled. Yet, nobody from the NPP asked the NDC to apologize. So this isn't really about only the NPP, but about the NDC as well. Now, Tahiru Abdurrashid says, as a civilized nation, why must we actually reduce our democracy to this low? Politics is about sharing ideas and convincing policies. Gone are the days such lies and derogatory acts win power for a political party. We must always remember that the international community is watching.
Sherman, he says, intellectual discourse, logical reasoning, and critical thinking. Samuel Komi says, Dr. Baumia claims he is a driver's mate, which he associates himself with Akufodo's successes and distances himself from his failures. He claims he chairs a committee that conceives the ideal of DRIP, but fails to accept the economic failures. From Justice, he says, Paul, you are doing great. To be issue balanced, do a Galamsey editorial for us and encourage the current government to name and shame those officials involved. From Manikaba, he says, it is possible. Harold Akesi says, Paul, I can't wait for your book. Ifwanyano says, great story. Lily Will says, these pastors will send people to go to make a shooting attempt to prove his fake prophecy. Ignore these fake pastors. Eno says, no matter how hard people work against Gizella Tete, she will be retained. Kofi Possible says, it is only Dr. Baumia that we can trust to protect the free SHS, and not someone who spoke ill of free SHS and even went to the Supreme Court in an attempt to stop the implementation. From Somalia, yes, he says, Apostle Paul, thank you for your weekly education on the happenings in Ghana. You unearth the issues and make things easier for us and the great minds to decipher. Allah bless you. Lastly, from Ellie Bird, he says, I had read in the morning newspapers a report from Africa that Ghana was considering annexing Guinea. I mentioned it to Churchill and asked what he thought about it. Well, I think Ghana has enough to digest without gobbling up Guinea, he growled. With surprising forcefulness, he went on to remark that Roosevelt had forced Britain and other imperial powers to give their colonies independence too soon. These countries, he said, took on responsibilities of government before they were ready to do so, and were worse off than before. In this, he echoed a point he had made as we were driving to the White House, our first meeting 4 years earlier. Over to you, Fatima.
Thank you. All right, so on the pastor's prophecy story, Gastiman says, do we just cancel this prophecy in the name of God? What does the law say about prophecies like this? Don't you think these so-called prophets could do anything towards physically in quest of fulfilling their prophecies? I think the police should arrest him instead of saying we should cancel it in the name of God. Now coming from David Bass, he says, Paul, is it possible for our frontline contenders in the upcoming presidential elections to consider wearing bulletproof vests? I think it's worth considering. Now, Bennett Dancer says, DMB's Bass campaign strategy is very commendable, and seeing the organic love the people he meets show him and his shop to shop, area to area, house to house, ghetto to ghetto, church to church, etc. is a beautiful sight to behold. And I remember when watching his campaign videos and pictures. It is possible. Now Kelvin says, NDC and John Mahama will remain in opposition forever and ever. Coming from Cynthia, says, Baumia delivered, period, and I'm coming down to vote. Abubakar Possible says, they said if the NPP elects Baumia as its flag bearer, they were not going to campaign, but now what are we seeing? They are sweating like playing football for 120 minutes. Felix Nyako says, how can the NDC ever claim to be better managers of the economy? Now, Master Planner Jr. from Kintampo says, in 2016, inflation was 17.45, but Mr. Paul, in 1999, inflation was less than 7%. It was around 4%. Dr. Baumia, as the chairman of the EMT, was the only time Gaba was able to maintain a single-digit inflation for 4 consecutive years. That is 2018 to 2021. Historical, it has, and it was only from 1968 to 1971 that Ghana has been able to maintain a single-digit inflation for that period. I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Baumia becomes president. Ghana is likely to maintain a single-digit inflation for more than 8 years, consecutive years. Let's give Baumia a chance, and it's possible. What do you have for us, Angelo?
Yusuf on the politics of dirty tricks says, Apostle rather, saying, it's time to sue some people for defamation and make some millions. Interesting advice. And Ben Christo from Kumasi has some advice for you, Paul. He says, please, Paul, FIFA decided to take the cameras off spectators who steal their way onto the pitch during football matches, and since then, research has it that the number of spectators who do that is on the minimal. Please, Paul, I beg you, he says, stop reading the messages of those who insult you on your show to discourage them. It's a way of silencing them. Thank you. Well, we'll look into that. Fred from Takoradi says, this show is causing fear and panic. God has not revealed, this guy is talking about the pastor with his prophecy. He says, God has not revealed anything to him. This is all that they do. Last time you had one who was very incoherent. We all know how tense this year's election will be. He used may, indicative of not too sure. Nyante from Takoradi says, Dampare will come for him soon. Now, Kabiesi, watching us from Sekondi, says there's something magical with Dr. Baumia. He knows how to diagnose the economy with precision and style. Voting for such an awesome son of the land is not only a national call, but God's duty. Richmond from We Also says, never again should the NDC rule this country. Richmond, perhaps you would have attached a reason why you think that. Now, from Dr. Eje watching us in Accra, he says, this economic crisis was all because of the hung parliament. Preventing government from getting its budget approved caused investors to shy away. With its ripple effect, the hung parliament was also caused by the fights against Galamsey. Now, everyone is also bashing the government for the economic crisis in Galamsey, but forgetting the government has brought this mess on itself because it fought Galamsey. We also have a page called Matter of Fact saying it's time to shift away from petty politics to policy-based discussions. Our leaders should come to be held to a higher standard of decorum and respect. The constant barrage of insults and personal attacks only serves to erode trust and undermine the integrity of our political process. Let's demand more substance and less slander from those who aspire to lead us. The future of our nation depends on it. I think that's very, very creditable a statement to make. Back to you, Paul. If you
okay, I also got a lot of text messages here, and somebody sends me a text about the voting thing. He says that sometimes, he's here. It says, Paul, sometimes there are transposition of figures at the polling station. Where this happens and EC observes errors, they have the right to call for requisite action. Do bring one of your technical officers to clarify this. If the votes at the polling station are manipulated, it exceeds the expected total votes for the for example, it won't hold as valid for example, even though it is the census results. Okay, great. That's a good one. So what I'm saying is that you need not to be worried about transposition of votes. It means nothing. The Supreme Court said in the Abu Ramadan list of cases, may he rest in peace, Akoto Ampao. But the Supreme Court said in the Abu Ramadan list, these cases were fought by Akoto in 2015 and 16, and he did a great job for Ghana. May he rest in eternal peace. Now, the Supreme Court said that the polling station results, as pasted at the polling station, and they ordered all presiding officers of the Electoral Commission at the polling station and the political party observers to ensure that the final results, as agreed by them, is posted. Now, if the results as agreed by them shows that there's been overvoting, for instance, that there are 290 people registered in the polling station, and Paul Adom Otchere gets 320, that should be corrected before it gets onto the wall. That's the point I'm making. That's what I'm saying, that political parties should recruit people who have arithmetical background, if you can. And then make sure that they understand what they are doing. Everyone has the voters register of the polling station. Polling stations are small. They are not thousands. I don't think there's any polling station that's even 1,000, or maybe a few. But they are very small. So polling stations are hundreds. So you check your polling station voters register, which is available today. The voters register for polling station Gumprugu Yo-Yo 1 secondary school is available today. Today. If it's not, it will be available in the next few weeks. Weeks before the election is available. So you can check it. So if you go, you send your people there and they're counting 70, 720, 340 at 9 p.m. and you cannot focus on that, then I'm not so sure whether you are willing to be a party polling station rep over there. So once the results are pasted, you need not worry about any transposition. They can transpose it all they want. They can strip it naked all they want. The results that you have, which is pasted there, take a photograph, pasted there on the wall, that is the official results of that polling station. It is certified. All the Electoral Commission does is to add all of it. Full stop. So the regional centers add all from the constituencies in their region. So from the polling station, they add it to the constituency. Then they have the constituency results. The MP is done for that night. He is finished. Then they go to another constituency, and that's a presidential election. But if you are an electoral commission and your headquarters is in Kumasi or in Accra or in Takoradi, get your people to feed into you on the night of the results, polling station by polling station. Just be adding it. Create a software that when the thing comes, it adds. When the results is hits, it adds. When it hits, it adds. And it's showing you a pie chart or a bar chart between green and blue. Blue for Muhammadu Bawumia, green for John Mahama. You are there. You are done. You may have calculated the results and your candidate has lost, but you have the results. So there's no problem at all about that. Okay. All right. Too much talking on this one because I'm quite passionate about it. Let's get back onto let's get onto the Gizella story. Okay. First of all, the festival is the Awobi Festival. It is in Ewutu Senya West. Ewutu Senya West, the constituency of Gizella Tete. That's where the Awobi Festival is done. Let me give you a bit of the history of the Awobia Festival, and then we can then get how sacrilegious this MP's behavior was. Historically, the Awobia Festival marks the end of the farming season and the harvest period. It is a time of thanksgiving to the ancestral spirits and deities for a bountiful harvest and to seek the blessing for future prosperity. The festival also serves as a vibrant display of cultural identity and communal unity among the Ewutu people. The celebration includes various rituals and customs that have been passed down through generations. A ceremonial procession led by the paramount chief and elders, adorned in traditional regalia, proceeds to sacred grounds where libations are poured to seek guidance and blessings from the ancestors. So this is Gizella. She attended the Awobia Festival. Of course, she's member of parliament and she needed so to do. But this is the story. So Dr. Bawumia was invited by the chiefs as a special guest for the Awubia festival, okay? He was invited. So he was invited in his capacity as vice president of Ghana. In fact, they wanted the president originally, from what I'm hearing. They wanted the president. Somehow the president's schedule is plenty. President happens to be outside the country somewhere in Asia, I believe. So Mahamudu Bawumia goes in there almost representing the president, but in his capacity as a vice president. So he goes there and there are presentation of awards. Gizella receives an award, of course, for being the member of parliament for Ewutu Senya West. She receives an award. At the Awubia festival, she receives an award. Dr. Bawumia is there. When Dr. Bawumia arrived, he goes around to shake hands with everyone, including Gizella. Dr. Bawumia shook hands with her. She should come and tell me that it's not true. We have the video. Dr. Bawumia shook hands with her. When he arrived, he's shaking hands with the dignitaries. There's a chief who is an MC, who is now introducing Dr. Bawumia to come. And then she walked out with her supporters. That she doesn't want to hear what Dr. Bawumia has to say. I think this is terrible. Parliament's privilege committees must deal with it. Put Gizella's photograph there. Parliament privilege committees must deal with it. We can't have our... I mean, Gizella is ordinarily, you know, this is an Atete's sister, a former foreign minister. This is her sister. So you would assume. I mean, I've interviewed Hannah Tete countless occasions. Here on Good Evening Ghana, when she was trade minister, I've interviewed her so many times. One thing you get with Hannah Tete is the decorum. That's one thing you get with Hannah Tete. Have you ever heard? That is why when the NDC in the year 2008 wanted to change their image, when they conducted the rebranding at the National Theatre, Hannah Tete was the person the NDC used to rebrand itself. Hannah Tete and Alexander Segbefia. They were the people that NDC used to rebrand themselves because Professor Mills was unhappy with this kind of gangster politics, insulting, fighting, violence. Professor Mills had taken over the leadership of the NDC, and he said that he wasn't going to have that with NDC. So he decided that for his 2008 election, he would conduct a rebranding. And he had two faces for the rebranding. The female face was Hannah Tete, and the male face was Alexander Segbefia. This is Hannah Tete's younger sister. Where did she learn these things from? Where did she learn from? Show me your friend, I'll show you your character. Show me your friends, I'll show you. Look at what she did. So it's just so debasing, it's terrible, it's horrendous, and it's uncouth, to say the least. You are a member of parliament. The vice president has come to your festival. This is your festival. And the vice president arrives and shakes hands with everyone, including yourself. You receive an award as member of parliament, which you deserve. The vice president congratulates you for the award by clapping his hands when you were called. When the vice president is about to be called to give his speech, you rise up and walk out. If she was walking out in good faith, do you know what she would have done? She would have stood up and gone to the dais and say, Mr. Vice President, I beg you, I need to go. You know it's campaign time, so this one, I beg you. And say, and then the MC will say that Gizella Tete, a member of parliament, or Ewutu Senya West, also Podo Srekwan, inti Opodoko, inti Akwandaho. This is what seasoned, well brought up people do. You don't rise up and pretend you are some macho woman and walk out with your supporters because you want to show that you have ignored the vice president so that NDC people will hail you. This is the kind of politics that we must stop. When political parties hail people because they can insult. When you saw that, where is Bobby's picture? Put it back there. They are doing radio program, and Foundation for Future, Media Foundation for West Africa says that 80% of their content is insults. And that is how you get plaudits in a political party. Because you are insulting, because you are rude, because you are uncouth, because you are violent. That's how you rise in a political party. Our children should not come and see any political party in Ghana that is rewarding such uncouth behavior. Political parties should not reward such uncouth behavior. We all remember how, okay, he's died, so I won't talk about him. May he rest in peace. I won't even mention his name to take your minds to it. But this was a gentleman who Kufuor as president had to deal with. He's an MPP man. But he was so Rambo that the president had to call him to order that you cannot do that in MPP. We should, and thanks be to Kufuor for his decorum. Glory be to Professor Mills. May he rest in peace for his decorum. And why are these things creeping back? Are we growing bad leaders? Is that what we are doing? We have done well in the past and we are doing worse in the future? Are we growing bad leaders? Is that Professor Mills's NDC? The one he said we should rebrand and take away the machoism and the uncouthness and the terrible behavior? Is it coming back again? Why is it coming back? Civil society, please deal with this. Parliament, ask her at the Privileges Committee, what was the reason for her walkout with her supporters in such a bullish and rude manner when the vice president was sitting down with the chiefs? She doesn't respect her own chiefs as well. You walk out on the vice president and your chiefs, the chiefs that are the reason why you are there. You walk out on them and the vice president because it is campaign time, because you have to show that you can show the vice president the highest disrespect. You have to show that. Goodness. Shame on you, Madam Gizella. Shame on you. Don't do that ever again. You are a member of parliament. And we all want to be members of parliament if there's opportunity. We want to see that being a member of parliament is something that we want to emulate. This your behavior, nobody wants to emulate it. No one, no NDC member, no MPP member wants to emulate this your shameful behavior. My goodness, what is this? What is this? What is this? Shameful. Not because he's MPP or he's NDC. We can't build a society like that. The president of Ghana is the president of Ghana. The former president of Ghana is the former president of Ghana. It is very, very important. The former chief of staff of Ghana is the former chief of staff of Ghana. It is very, very, very important.
Young people in the MPP, I'll say that we are not afraid of anything because the facts are on our side. The facts are on our side. And if there's any, I mean, I'll show you a text message I received from, let me not say, he's a young person, but my senior sent me a message and said that I'm voting for MPP because of Dr. Bawumia. Because Dr. Bawumia, if you go to America, he sent you a message and says, if you go to America, we have the Reagan Republicans, and now we have the Trump Republicans. So I interrogated him and asked him, he said, Bawumia seems to be a different breed when it comes to politics. And he refers me to the very message you gave Dr. Bawumia when you were at the press conference. So it tells you that people are voting for different reasons. I had another text message, exchanged a text message with another older person and sent me a message, and I was actually angry. Sent me a message, oh, Nanado has failed. Then I said, Chief, can I call you? So we had a conversation, and I came to this conclusion. If there's anybody that has failed, then it's me. It's people like me who know the facts, and rather telling the facts out, I spend time doing a different thing. Party communicators, government communicators who know the facts of what the MPP has done. A lot of people don't even know that 5.7 people have benefited from free SHS.
Oh, has it reached 5 million?
Yes,
Oh,
the beneficiaries, yes. But the beneficiaries, 2 million people have gone to free SHS. But when you move from Form 1 to Form 2, you are a beneficiary.
Okay, so you're counting people twice.
No, you have
So
to
you're counting
count
them 3 times.
You have
year
to
1,
count
year
them.
2, year
yes,
3.
They are beneficiaries.
Oh, that's propaganda.
That's not. Because year 3 we paid. If you say we paid level 100 and we stopped, that's different. But you paid for year 2. You paid for year 3. That's how come
an individual government pays 3 years.
Yes.
So you're counting the 3 years as 3 beneficiaries.
Yes. And even that one, you
Hey.
have people that were not able to continue. Someone will say that, oh, the free SHS came.
I'm pleasantly surprised that free SHS is back on the campaign as a major issue. No one thought it would be in 2024's campaign.
But 4 years ago, it wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't the big
Yes.
deal in 4 years ago.
And this is what I'm telling you. I really wanted you to talk about this. In 3 years or 2 years, the same way we are shouting free SHS is the same way we'll be shouting Agenda 111. Think about it. It's the same way.
It will happen at that time.
It will happen at that time. But I ask myself, who is the president I want to see?
Handling Agenda 111.
Yes, who is the president I want to see?
Or handling free SHS.
Is it the president that told us that it is not realistic? Or is the president that says, I will continue? Oh, if today, Dr. Bawumia becomes president and he does not do anything but continues what President Akufo-Addo has done, he will go in history as a president far better than John Mahama.
If he's able to do more for one district, one factory,
If he
do more for one village, one dam,
if he's able to
sustain
just
free
finish,
SHS
finish what Akufo-Addo
and
started.
sustain Agenda 111.
Yes.
Only that.
Only just
Education
that.
and health
Just
is sorted.
If he continues that, he will go in history as a president far better than the Prince of Darkness.
Oh, no. I won't let you call him that.
So I'll come
you
to
can't
why,
say somebody's Prince of Darkness. No.
Well, so
It's former President John Mahama who had an energy crisis situation that's allowed. Prince of Darkness. No.
So in a certain context, so if you the book I wrote,
yes, it's here.
The president.
The president. Ghana never wanted.
If you look at the back of the book, what I wrote at the back, I said the title. There were two titles when I started writing the book in January. There were two titles. The first one is A Cautionary Tale, a history Ghana must never repeat.
Yeah, you can say that. History
And
Ghana
the
must
other
never
one was The Prince of Darkness.
No, that's one.
Yes, that's why it's a title. And the book will explain everything. It's not as if you are tagging him as, you know, when you say in Christianity, when you call someone the Prince of Darkness, what it could
That's Lucifer.
But that is not what the book tells. You know, in
The former bright morning star who became the Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness. But Paul, not in that biblical way. But Paul, if you look at in this Fourth Republic, Ghana has gone through a certain time of darkness where we talk about the chaos that we've been through, where we talk about there was no crisis.
Let's come back to the campaign. Is NPP going to win at Denta? Very interesting.
NPP. So what I love about Adenta is the way Akosua Menu is working. I keep telling people one of the reasons why I wasn't even encouraged to contest again for Adenta was because of Akosua Menu. I believe in women in politics. I believe in the affirmative action agenda and all those things. But Akosua has distinguished herself. She's shown that even though she's a woman, she knows the politics of how men do it. She goes down to the ground. She plays football with us.
Plays football?
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes her special. Akosua Menu has done, I'll say, a fantastic job.
Is she going to win?
She's going to win. Akosua is going
Against
to win.
Ramadan?
Akosua is going to win.
Are you sure?
I'm telling you, Akosua is going to win. Akosua is entering places that nobody wanted to enter. Akosua is doing things that the former MP with Yawabian someone is doing things that Yao didn't do. And when you are running for MP, sometimes it's so irritating. And I keep saying that back to first principles. You have to have a certain character to run for MP. Because forgive me to say in quotes, the nonsense you hear is more than the pleasant things that you hear. But your ability to hold it together and make things happen. I don't think there's any MP in this country that will say, I'm the happiest MP. Because people are throwing all their problems to you. Someone is going to marry their second wife and it's on you.
How is it on you?
Well, you should ask the MPs. I mean, I've had
that you should pay for it.
You have to make a contribution.
Yeah, that's okay. 100 cedis.
100 cedis?
Yes.
Well, there's no MP in this country that will go for a funeral and even pay 100 cedis. 500 cedis, they will even look at you some way.
1,000.
1,000 and above.
4,000.
So imagine you are going for every weekend, you are going for 5 funerals. How much is your salary as an MP?
4, 16.
How much is your salary as an MP? So the MPs are
but it's not by force to pay 4,000. You can pay 500.
Oh, our politics is different.
When you pay 500, they'll say what, you are stingy.
Exactly.
But if you're an MP, your salary is your salary, isn't it?
Yes, your salary is your
there's,
salary.
There's common fund as well.
But common fund doesn't go into the MP's hands straight away, and it's not for the MP himself. It's for development.
It's for development, yes.
So it's not as if.
So should Parliament be paying MPs some money for these things?
I think Parliament should do more for MPs, even with their staff. When you go to the US, every congressman is entitled to 5 staff.
That is paid for.
Yes, that is paid for, and $1 million for running your office.
Per annum.
Yes, every year.
That's a lot of money.
Well, it depends on the jurisdiction you find yourself in, because some of the things they are doing, going for charity programs, supporting some initiatives, making sure that a certain project is going well, giving boys morale. So they are doing different things. And Ghanaian MPs are the ones that, I mean, they do a lot. Ghanaian MPs do a lot. Ghanaian MPs do a lot. I mean,
from the area that you are, how is Ekropon North looking? Is Samia Oku going to win?
I keep telling people that Samia Oku distinguished himself nationally, and there's nowhere he will stand that will be difficult for him to win. He doesn't have, he's a people person. Samia Oku just gels with you. He sees your call, he'll return. He sees, I mean, he's that person that gels with everybody. And it's very difficult to have a problem with him. Because when he even meets you, the way, and this is a guy that remembers names. I was with someone and Sami came and Sami mentioned, he said, hey, he remembered my name. We've just met once. So he's distinguished himself for national politics. That's how I see Sami Oku. So it's going to a constituency, it's simple for him.
What about Medina? Susu is the incumbent there. People think he's going to win for the NDC.
Being honest, I've not really paid attention to. But there's a gentleman at Medina, I see his posters a lot. And people tell me that he's helping. Is it Prince or... There's a gentleman.
MPP candidate.
The MPP candidate. Prince or something. He lives... I actually know where he even lives. He lives on the Ebri Road. You know, when you get to Adenta... Adenta, when you're standing at Adenta barrier, this side belongs to Adenta constituency, and the other side belongs to Medina.
Oh, I see.
Yes, Adenta and Medina are very big. Adenta, Trasako is all part of Adenta, coming down to Amanya.
Hey, I see. That's huge.
Yes, that's very huge.
Oyarefa included?
Oyarefa is Medina.
Oh, I see.
And there's in fact, there's a part of Oyarefa that is also Adenta, because when the road is divided, there's a part that belongs to Adenta and there's a part that belongs to Medina. Medina and Adenta are very, very big.
Same area. Aaron Michael Quay.
Aaron is doing a perfect job. He's going on the ground. I've seen his door to door. And one thing I know about him is a very spiritual person. We have a group that in the same circles we pray together. So he started the work, let me say 4 years ago. He started helping people in the community, the market women. So they are used to him. They are very used to him.
The interesting one, University of Ghana, Ma Lydia versus John Dumelo.
Ma Lydia, what makes Ma Lydia win? When I was in Legon was before, so I worked for Honorable Ejakon.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you know Ma Lydia well?
Yes, I know Ma. Can you imagine when I was running for SRC president, Ma Lydia actually called us and gave us a contribution when she was not.
She was the wife of Ejakon.
Yes. So we know her to be someone that she contributes to the well-being of people. And I remember her contribution to TESCON when we even had, like, we call Honorable Ejakon and he's in Peking. She was the one we were running to. So she's been there for some time. She's been working on the ground. The market women actually know her. It's not as if she just came because, no. She's been. So
it's going to be difficult for Dumelo to unseat Ma Lydia?
Very, very difficult. And the way she takes care of the University of Ghana, that's a bigger constituency within the constituency. She has a way that when people are even going home, they pay their buses, the organization. She does very well for the students. When they come in, books. Recently, I saw that there were some provisions that were handed out to people, and it wasn't even about elections. She does that visiting.
A final one. Nationally, it's indicated that polls show John Dramani Mahama ahead of Dr. Baumia. How is that going?
Well, I don't know where the polls are coming from, but I also have some polls. So, as a consultant, we have other friend consultants. If you read the first chapter of my book, I talk about the nightmare that will happen to Ghana if John Mahama should become president. And it was from this circle of consultants and economists in America, some group of people that we meet to help each other. And one of them had a research, a very classified research, that it bothered me so much that it became a nightmare to me. It bothered me so much to the extent that I know that when John Mahama becomes president, they'll cancel free SHS.
No, they've said they won't.
Yes.
They have said that they won't cancel it. The NDC has said it
Yes.
very clearly.
Yeah, they said it clearly that they will not cancel
Yes.
the national health insurance. But they starved it. We won't cancel it, but we are starving it from funding.
But if we start from funding, people cannot go to school. If a person goes and
Yes.
they are not remitting
then
the
you-
money
you
to
have-
Adom Otchere will sack them.
But-
Or tell them that you should come and pay.
Hey, exactly. That's what happened to national health insurance. They starved it, and it became, you bring your cash, then they take care of you. It's a natural death. And you know that until we came back into power, nobody wanted to admit the national health insurance.
That's true. Now it's better.
Yeah, now it's far better. It's far better. And so, and you look at the two campaigns, coming back to the post, you look at the two campaigns, ask yourself, who is getting the numbers when you go on the ground?
No, both are getting the numbers. From the pictures that we have, John Mahama gets the numbers. Dr. Baumia also gets the numbers.
The numbers Dr. Baumia is getting is way different from what John Mahama
Except
is
that
getting.
maybe Baumia's numbers may be surprising because everyone knew in March that John Mahama has won the election, that NDC has won the election.
That is what the NDC believes, that they've won the election.
But in March, they knew they'd won it. Now, I don't know. But March, April, from everything that was happening, everybody knew that the NDC has won this election. Now it's changing rapidly, and everybody seems to say, Charlie, the thing is changing.
Because Dr. Baumia is going down to the ground, the door to door. They told us back in Lagos.
But that means John Mahama had not locked the vote yet.
No.
He was in the lead because he's the alternative.
Yes.
He hadn't locked the votes.
And now,
So once the voters are encountering the candidates, they are switching to Dr. Baumia.
yes, but it's also now that
Have they forgotten that the price of petrol is high? Price of K is high. Price of Ideal milk is high. Price of Milo is high. Price of salt is high. Price of cooking oil is high. As Dr. Baumia said, nurses are suffering. Teachers are suffering. Everybody is suffering. Have the voters forgotten that?
Oh, you have to ask yourself and be honest. Is there hardship?
Yeah, there is.
There is. In this hardship, did we lead to solve, or we sat down and said we are canceling teacher training allowances? We are canceling this.
We lead to solve.
Yes. So what did we do? We pushed on with the free SHS. We made sure that the 12 interchanges we are doing, Obechebi, phase 2, East Legon, interchange,
Almost completed.
we are doing it. Have we halted on the project? Have we said that the Kumasi bypass, we've stopped it?
No.
We are doing
It's
it.
almost, they've opened part
In
of
this
it.
hardship, that is the distinction between the old government, that you said, all things being equal. We didn't create any crisis. We came to meet the crisis. But in that crisis, did we perform our duty? Did we increase the number of people that can receive scholarship from 30,000 to 58,000? Yes. Have we solved the dollar? No. But have we done what some of the things we said we'll do? 80%. 80% of what we said we'll do, we've done it.
Restoring teacher and nurses training
Allowances. In
Creating
this
free
hardship, we
SHS.
didn't cancel it. In this hardship, we introduced STEM education. We are building 5 completed. In this hardship, when you go to Efian Kwanta, we are building a 505-bed hospital. And it's a teaching hospital. We didn't say we are in hardship. In this hardship, go to Eastern Region. There's an Eastern Regional Hospital. In this hardship, go to my own constituency, Amaya. We have they call it the agric aquaculture. Yes. We didn't say. In this hardship, we built fish landing sites.
For
In this
Jamestown,
hardship- Yes, in this hardship, we didn't fold our hands. In this hardship, we've renegotiated the electricity, the IPP deals to say that ECG must pay itself. In this very hardship, we didn't say we'll turn off the lights. We've only done maintenance. And when we say maintenance, it will be done in 2 weeks. We are true to our words. In this hardship, we've kept the lights on for 7.5 years. In this hardship.
The hardship is 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yes, But Paul, they are adding all together. That's what in this hardship. If they want to say, in this hardship, we've done all these things. We didn't give up. We didn't relent.
Okay, let's leave it. We have to continue with the interview. Let me see whether people are listening to us and texting to our social media editors. I'll begin with Antoinette. Is that okay? Antoinette, do you have some messages to wrap up with us today? Tell us.
Okay, but not on what we are currently talking about. But Junior Agba from Tamale says, great submission by my former TESCOM president. He should keep it up. We are very proud of him. Nathaniel Kojo Anderson is still hung up on Honorable Gizella's walking out. He says, Paul, he walked out of a political rally and not a festival. He is a better woman than all the women that I know. Samuel Banks says, it is intellectual dishonesty on the part of the so-called professors who ignore the basic economic rule of all things being equal. In democracy, we agree to disagree, and DNB and the NPP are more focused on preaching and selling their message to the electorate than what the NDC is doing. And lastly, Master Planner says, okay, it's a time to shift from petty politics to policy-based discussions. Our leaders should be held to a higher standard of decorum and respect. The constant barrage of insult and personal attacks only serves to erode trust and undermine the integrity of our political process. Let's demand more substance and less slander from those who aspire to lead. The future of our nation depends on it. Over to you, Anziba.
All right. So we have from Empty Boy GH, he says, Kumi stays on point. Abdul Aziz says, what is the campaign message of the NPP? Gilbert Adams says, nice submission and keep it up, from Gilbert Tema. Lastly, from Samuel Lamte, he says, you are a good communicator, Sami. Over to you.
All right, Gilbert Adams says, nice submissions. Also coming from Isaac Baffa says, everyone is realizing we have been beveled by some catastrophes, actually not the doing of the government necessarily. Kumi, I applaud you. Samuel Lamte says, good communicator. Ahmed Kwachi says, Paul, people have now seen the benefits of the free SHS, and in 10 years, people will fully understand the benefits. Yasu Eben says, this behavior is a sign of losing and confusion from the NDC. John Mahama can never become a president of Ghana again. Mark my words. Maxwell Entry says, DMB is so focused on his victory campaign. Nana Kwame says, for the NDCs know the truth, but they won't speak about it. General E.L. Coman says, the NDC should know spreading falsehood about DMB won't sway informed voters. Kelvin Mowley says, NDC and John Mahama will remain in opposition forever. And Steve says, all Muslims and Christians and believers should pray and work hard for Bawumia to win. In my heart, Bawumia appears to have a good and kind heart and seems to be the knowledge of the leading this country better. God will surely reward him with victory. And lastly coming from Kantama, says, the best and most educated program in Ghana and the world at large. Good evening to you. Back to you, Paul.
Is it on the Facebook? Is it on the wall? Okay, so viewers, it's getting in very interesting. Antoinette read a text about Gizella. We are not finding the statement purportedly issued by the NDC. We are going to put on the television live page of Gizella's Facebook wall. If the statement is not there, then we will proceed to suggest that it's not true. She has not issued any statement. Neither has the NDC issued any statement. It is the pressure that Good Evening Ghana is giving them that got somebody to go and type something. We are on her Facebook wall. Gizella, if you have issued a statement, put on your Facebook wall. Let's see. What's the time? 11:36. If it comes at 1 a.m., we know it came at 1 a.m. Yes, social media. Mark Zuckerberg, thank you very much for giving us social media. Today, we'll catch the thief. We'll catch the thief. Gizella has not issued any statement. We are giving you pressure, browbeating you on Good Evening Ghana. You go and type something. You think you are smart? You go and type something that Gizella has. She has not apologized anything. Nothing. NDC has issued no statement. They have nothing to say except tomorrow to render an unqualified apology and for Parliament to render an apology on her behalf. Kay Solatufos, her leader, is going to render an apology on her behalf. What is this shameful behavior? And then you come and text that she asked permission. She asked permission from whom? The video that we saw where she was passing, who did she ask the permission from? The people who could have granted her the permission were on the days. She walked past the days with her supporters shouting a jobodo, and then they went away. What's permission? Please, just give us a screenshot. You are keeping long. People want to go and sleep. It's, it's 23 minutes at the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. I will get the statement before we wrap up because it has to be on our social media page tomorrow. We are getting you Gizella's page. Is it getting complicated? Are they on it? Okay. Okay, are they on it? Viewers, bear with us. 2 minutes, we'll finish right now. I'm sure we are still on DSTV, our viewers who are watching us. Okay. They are struggling. They'll put it on a minute. Okay. Ansba is very tired already, but maybe Fatih can give us some text messages. Fatih. Oh, Antoinette, you have some. Okay, Antoinette is the class captain, so yes.
So, yeah, not Gonja says, Adenta Kumi is actually a very solid guy and he's very vibrant as well, whom I greatly admire. I do appreciate his communication style and hope to emulate it as I grow. I cannot wait to read his book. Anthony Dutcher says, the president Ghana never wanted has my vote already. Sometimes when the damage control is too much, people begin to love the one you are against. Seydou Issa seems to be against the book. He says, it looks like he will sell the book to his house people alone and the rest of the books will be wasted because no Ghanaian, apart from those who value party shirts, will patronize such a book. Marina Corbina also says there is no time
let me interrupt you to come on to the touch screen, and this is Gizella Tete, Honorable Gizella Tete. This is her Facebook page right now. She did something shameful, and which we drew attention to here. Whilst we opened the text messages on Good Evening Ghana Official, a viewer sent us text that Gizella says, or a statement has been issued by the NDC on her behalf, that she walked out. She didn't quite walk out, but she took permission. Another person said the thing was a political rally, it wasn't a festival, and then she had told them that she will not be able to stay, but she wanted to wait for the arrival of the vice president before she left. And you wait for the arrival of the vice president, and then you leave when he's about to talk. Why don't you just leave before he comes, if you have permission to do so? But we are getting to the conclusion that that text message is a hoax, it's not true, because this is the protagonist's page. This is Gizella Tete's Facebook page. Gizella Tete Agotui. She has 2.9 friends, NDC member of parliament for Ewutu Senya West constituency. The last thing she posted was 6 days ago. She was saying happy birthday to a nice gentleman. He said, have a blessed birthday, Wafayao. Gizella Ba. Okay, you went with me to Winneba for the NDC manifesto lunch. The next day you were oh, he died. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. I said you went with me to to Winneba for the NDC manifesto lunch. The next day you were gone. A tragedy. You named your daughter after me. I'll take care of her now that you are gone. Oh. This is such a mishap for my oh shit, the guy is a young man. Oh my goodness, if I redraw that. Shoot. The guy died, man. Wow. Very young man. Oh, well, it's good that Gizella is taking care of her daughter. But anyway, I'm really, really sorry about this, viewers. I'm really sorry about that. What can I say? Okay, we'll leave it here. But she hasn't issued any statement. Unfortunately for us, we came on her Facebook page and met very sad news, which she posted 6 days ago. So we are sorry about that. She has not issued any statement. If she has a statement, she should issue it tomorrow. Parliament, it's Atufosi should issue it for her. Whatever Gizella did at the festival was shameful. I will not say beyond that. I'm affected by the news of a young man's death.